This is WPTV, William Patterson Television.
Welcome back to the desk. The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions for this NFL season. Here to recap the big game from Sunday is Michael Milligan, AJ Tierney, Daniel Muse, and JJ Woodards. Milligan, I'll start with you. You got a highlight call of this one. Take me through it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get right into it right now. Midway through the first quarter, the tush push happens, tush push sighting, and Jalen Hurts gets the first touchdown and the first points on the board in the game. After this, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are looking to find something to go for and throw it right to Cooper the Gene. He's like, I'm taking it back over here. Cooper the Gene sounds like Lightning McQueen because he ran fast back over to that end zone for the pick six. 17-0 now, and Patrick Mahomes trying to find somewhere to go and gives it right to Zach Bond. He said, no way, Jose, I ain't letting you get right with this one. Over here, you're going to see pass to A.J. Brown, running the drag route over into the end zone right there, just becoming a blowout every single time. And then Patrick Mahomes trying to find somewhere to go, gets brought down. He tries to escape though, doesn't really happen. Whistle blows, the play dead. Next, Jalen Hurts is going to launch a deep one all the way out to Devonta Smith. He's going to make a great catch and right into the end zone again. 37-6 over here. Patrick Mahomes looking for somewhere to go, and then again, Milton Williams comes up here for the forced fumble and the sack and the fumble recovery. And finally, Nick Sirianni gets his good old Gatorade bath he's been looking for his entire career so far.
Yeah, Milligan, nicely done on that highlight call. I'll stick with you here. What led the Eagles to their second Super Bowl?
I mean, anyone with eyes could actually tell. It was the absolute fact that it was the defensive line pressure. This team blitzed 0 times in the Super Bowl, committed 16 pressures and 6 sacks this entire game. So the defensive line were already in Patrick Mahomes' grill every second. Right off the snap, they were fast on the offensive line of the Chiefs every single time the ball was snapped. So no matter what, it was a defensive line for the Eagles.
JJ?
I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts. This is the second Super Bowl in a row that Jalen Hurts has outplayed Patrick Mahomes. He threw for 221 yards, 3 total touchdowns, rushed for another 71 yards, and he completed 17 of 22 of his passes. He was just absolutely poised out there, and that's the reason why he got Super Bowl MVP. He just absolutely played a good game.
Daniel, what led the Eagles to the second Super Bowl?
Well, I'm going to go with the defense as a whole. Dyan with the pick six, and that being one of the 2 being calls. And then the defense holding the Chiefs to 3-11 on third downs, which was key. The defense came to play and played up to par.
AJ, finish off with this question.
I got to say, it's because the Eagles kept their foot on the gas. They did not stop for 1 second. They did not let Patrick Mahomes get into the rhythm. The defense kept pressuring them, so Patrick Mahomes can't do his Mahomes magic. And offense kept driving down the field. Besides that one pick that Jalen Hurts threw, they kept going, and every point they scored, whether it was a field goal or a touchdown, they kept their foot on the gas until the game was over.
Yeah. There was a lot of debate surrounding who should have won the Super Bowl MVP. AJ, I'll go back to you here. Who do you think should have won it?
I feel like it's Jake Elliott, the kicker, man. I mean, he was 4 for 4, 100% on field goals. His longest field goal was 50 yards. Field goals do win games, especially when it comes to the end. But when you're playing the Chiefs, you can't let your foot off the gas for 1 second. And even though Jalen Hurts went a couple times in the red zone 3 and out, Jake Elliott was there to nail those field goals, to keep increasing the score. And I feel like that is MVP material. Right?
Kicker?
Yes, a kicker, bro.
A kicker?
Yes, a
Exact
kicker.
thoughts.
A kicker?
Yes, a kicker.
We might as well just put the long slapper on there then.
Okay.
Okay. Now you're doing too much, bro. But come on, man. 4 for 4, longest 50 yards. He didn't miss a kick.
Okay, a kicker.
I mean, he was absolutely drilling them from 55 yards
Exactly.
away.
Unbelievable.
It's exactly.
Anyway, Milligan, I'll go
16
over to
points
you.
himself.
Who won the Super Bowl MVP?
I guess it must be April Fools over here with AJ over here saying the kicker should have won, but let's go with it. Let's go actually with Milton Williams, the defensive lineman from the Eagles. I mean, look, he had a great game this entire time, and 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and 1 fumble recovery. He was able to strip the sack, which was probably the biggest hit I think Mahomes took the entire night, and he really does help. I mean, the entire defense line did, but I think Milton Williams kind of just was a little bit more, active in more of the plays than anyone else in that entire line, except for maybe Josh Sweat. But nevertheless, I still think Milton Williams really did change the game and really change what the rest of the outcome was for the game. I mean, yes, there was already a blowout, but he kind of put a dagger into the heart of the Chiefs.
JJ, who's your MVP?
There's only one answer. It should have been Josh Sweat. Josh Sweat absolutely dominated this game. 2.5 sacks, 2 TFLs, and 3 quarterback hits. He was absolutely in Patrick Mahomes' face all night. He was giving Joe Tierney just the business. I mean, just absolutely the business. But it should have been Josh Sweat.
I mean, yeah, that defense was playing lights out all game long. Muse, I'll go over to you. Who do you think should have won the MVP?
Well, I think they got it right with Jalen Hurts throwing for 2 TDs, rushing for 221 passing yards. He led the team in his humble fashion. You know, he doesn't like to smile, but he led the Philly fans to a great win, and now they're having a Super Bowl today, enjoying their win, you know.
At least it wasn't a kicker.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
At least.
True.
He's 4 for 4.
not with those
4
kickers.
for 4.
It's a based
100
opinion. I'm
yards.
like this over here.
It's true. I mean, kickers win games. What happens when it comes to the
they
Wild
scored
and it's
40
tie game?
points. I mean, he didn't score 40 points.
Half of those weren't touchdowns. 16 points alone came from
Those
the kicker.
16 points
16
wouldn't matter. They
points.
still
16
blew
points
him
don't
out.
matter when it
They
comes to
still
the
blew him
Chiefs.
out.
When it comes to the Chiefs. When it comes to the Chiefs, if Atlanta kicker scored 16 points against the Patriots, they might have won.
A kicker should be
Yes.
Super Bowl MVP
Yes.
for 16
Yes.
points.
Maybe if the Atlanta kicker scored 16 points by kicking against the Patriots, they probably would have never, got blown out from the 28-3 comeback.
Well,
Just
but
saying it
all Atlanta had to do was just run the ball.
Why
That's
we
all
bring up
Atlanta
old
had to
history?
do.
Why we bring
All
up
they
old
had
history?
to do was
That's
run the
Super Bowl
ball.
52.
That's
This
why
is what
Atlanta
happened.
lost. They didn't run the ball.
All right,
didn't run the ball.
gentlemen, simmer down a little bit.
We love a
simmer
good
down.
debate at the desk.
Come on.
The
Lock in.
Eagles have a lot of players hitting the open market. Daniel, I'll go over to you. Who do the Eagles have to retain next year?
Well, I'm going to say Josh Sweat, sticking with JJ on his last answer. You know, he was a key factor in defensive the whole season. 41 total tackles, 27 solo, 8 sacks, 6 tackles in the Super Bowl. You know, the intangibles really came to play, just putting pressure on one of the best offensive lines in the league. That's exactly what the Philadelphia Eagles defense need to retain.
AJ?
I would say Zach Bond. He had a pick on the 14-yard line in the Super Bowl, which led into an A.J. Brown touchdown. But overall, he had a phenomenal season. 3.5 sacks, 1 interception, 5 forced fumbles, 93 solo tackles, which is tied for 3rd in the league. I mean, he was a key reason for this Philadelphia Eagles defense, and they need to bring a player like him back to that defense for sure.
Millie, who do the Eagles got to retain?
Honestly, I'm going to agree with Daniel over here. I'm also going to say Josh Sweat. Now, here's the reason why. He's 27 years old, right? So he's going to be heading into his 30s pretty soon. So you're trying to get the most out of him as you can. He's in his prime right now, and he is going to keep being dominant. I think even well into his 30s. I think probably 32 is where he's going to hit his margin. So I think giving him a nice 4-year contract, somewhere around like $60 million total, I think will be enough for him to stay around because they need him over there. He really helps the defensive line really, explode off every single time and just dominate the entirety of the game. So I think that's why Josh Sweat should be prioritized.
JJ, who do the Eagles got to retain here?
I'm going to go with a guard. I'm going to go with Mekhi Becton. Now, Mekhi Becton obviously has a Jet. Milligan knows. He was good solid his first year.
Right.
Then he got injured, then got shipped away to Philly.
Preach.
And then they moved him to guard, and he played terrific. And the thing about Mekhi Becton is he's not going to cost you that much. He's not the top of the guards, but he's not in the bottom either. So he's in the middle, so he's not going to cost that much. So I say they should just keep that offensive line together.
Yeah, fellas, let's jump into next year already and share a way too early Super Bowl 60 matchup. JJ, I'll go to you here first. What 2 teams would you like to see in Super Bowl 60?
I'm absolutely praying to God right now that it's the Ravens and the Lions.
Oh, my God.
I'm absolutely praying to God right now. it's
The
Ravens
Baltimore
and Lions.
Ravens?
Look,
I apologize.
I got a valid reason now. The Detroit Lions, now see, they lost in the NFC Championship game to the Niners. They should have won that game. Okay. They lost this year to Washington Commanders. Sucks. The defense was just absolutely depleted. The Ravens been knocking on the door for 4 years now. So why not? Why not next year?
Yeah, Daniel, I'll go to you here. Who do you like to see next year?
Well, I like to see the Ravens out of the AFC and the Eagles out of the NFC. I think that the Baltimore Boys could have made it this year if it wasn't snowing in Buffalo, giving Buffalo true home field advantage.
Oh, goodness me.
And out of the NFC, I don't see anybody competing with the Eagles right now as long as they keep their offensive machine intact.
AJ, who would you like to see?
I'm not going to say the Ravens because the Ravens pretty much lost to the Buffalo Bills. I mean, even though Mark Andrews dropped that touchdown, that 2-point conversion, Lamar Jackson did throw 2 picks. But I'm going to say it's going to be the Lions and the Bills. Both underdog teams, both teams that America loves to see win. Not only Jared Goff, they're saying he's too old. He's only 30 years old. He has 6 more seasons left in him. Josh Allen is a great QB. 2 of the most talented offensive-minded teams. And not only that, Detroit might, have no offensive coordinators or defensive coordinators, but anything about Dan Campbell knows how to get it done.
Yeah, Millie, finish it off here.
I got to go with the Houston Texans for the Philadelphia Eagles. I know, the Houston Texans, you're like, oh, wait, what the heck are you talking about here, Michael? I'm like, let me cook. All right, so the Houston Texans right now have, both Tank Dell, Nico Collins, and if they can, retain Stephon Diggs. If they can't retain him, probably go after T. Higgins in the NFL free agency, as well as maybe go after Khalil Mack to help bolster the defensive line with Will Anderson on the other side. So I think a couple pieces need to be moved there, and they'll definitely be Super Bowl contenders with the Philadelphia Eagles.
I'm just happy you didn't say the Jets.
That's going to wrap it up for our coverage of the NFL season. The Philadelphia Eagles take home the Lombardi Trophy. As always, don't forget to follow us at SportsDeskWP for updates and more. Thank you to all the cast and crew, and a big shout out to our wonderful studio manager, Al Clarke, from Studio B in Hamilton Hall, and from everyone here at the desk. I'm Tyler Cooper saying so long. See you next Friday on WPTV.